Let's see how we do tonight. There's been no bad weather, so hopefully I won't have any issues with the internet tonight. I was scheduled for 7 o'clock, but Tobacco Lords, and it looks like a Glassford cigar. Got some Timothy Taylor Landlord beer and some Old Putney 12-year-old single malt. Get this cracked open, I think. Hope you've all had a great Saturday. Get a nice start to the weekend. I forgot where I put my bottle opener. 2 seconds. Are you all right, Alex? Glad you could make it. Hopefully we might actually get a live tonight and it won't cut off. So I've got my fingers and toes crossed. Cheers. Are you all right, Phil? How are you feeling? Not too bad. It was quite nice today, a bit fresh. Woke up this morning, it was quite frosty, but wasn't too bad at the start, but it did get colder by dinner time. Phil, you're probably getting what we had yesterday because it absolutely lashed down. I got soaked when I left work and I just got in the house and the heavens just opened and it lashed down. Old Putney tonight. Pity that you couldn't get the bottle of Talisker. I know, sacrilege, I shouldn't do it with a Zippo. Tea, it's Saturday night. You should do what Gentleman Scholar does and add some amaretto to it. So what's everybody been up to? Hiya Steve, how are you? Phil, Highland Park is another favourite of mine, I must admit. If the Talisker wasn't on special offer when I went in yesterday, I would definitely have grabbed a bottle of that. That's good to hear, Steve. How are you doing, Yardism? Yeah, they started bringing out all those sort of Viking blends and stuff like that, so and changed the bottle design. I haven't had one for a good 10 years, so I'll probably find out when I pick up another one. Oh, what's up, Alex? What time is it where you are, Chad? Right. I was thinking about 3 p.m., so yeah, that's pretty early. That's the only downside about doing these lives because the time differences is just they are a pain in the ass. I either do a live at sort of 2 a.m. or I sort of do one at 7 p.m. It's a bit of a pain in the ass, really. Nothing too bad, is it, Alex? Right, yeah. Did they not just squeeze it, Alex, and get all the crap out? It's a bit of a common thing on dogs because I know when I had a Staffordshire Bull Terrier, she used to have to keep going in and getting that seen too. Well, Chad, have a good one, and I hope he has a great birthday. Many happy returns from England. You're welcome, mate. Yeah, you've always got to go back, haven't you? You just love ringing that bell on the till, don't they? Yeah, well, hopefully the antibiotics will get it sorted and she'll be okay. I'm a little bit annoyed this week. I put an order in on Thursday for a new pipe that Karen wants to get us for Christmas, and I ordered a couple of tins of tobacco, and got the email, even though it said it was in stock. Got the email Friday to basically say that it wasn't in stock, so that was a bit of a pisser. But I've spotted something else, so once I get the refund through, I can have another look and see what we can get. Which one did you get, Alex? Oh, is that Samuel Gowerth Winter Blend you were on about? Tell you what I did pick up today. Thought it might look cool on the cave wall. A little bit of pipe tut, little Sherlock Holmes bust thing there for the wall. Mm. Old Dublin. That's definitely become a favourite. I've nearly gone through that tin I got recently. Yeah, I keep saying that, Steve. I'm going to have to try and get myself some one day. It's on the ever-growing wish list, that one. Steve, have you picked up a tin of the corn cob and a button nose Cornell and Deal tobacco yet? It's a cigar that was sent to us by Kim, and it's a Tobacco Lords um, Glassford, and I must say it is nice. Right, yeah, it seems to be with hints of chocolate. So I was just wondering whether it was basically similar to Captain Black Royal, and if it was really worth getting a tin in and seeing what it's like, or just hold off on it. I was thinking of getting a tin of the Peterson's Christmas blend, but again, for the price, it is a lot of money for a tobacco that might not be palatable. I've tried the 17 and 18. I think I just feel that they're a little bit too sweet. So I don't know whether I'd rather just maybe. I mean, I was looking at the wintertime flake and maybe thinking of some of the connoisseur's choice because I do like that. Evening, Geek Piper. How's things? So what's everyone smoking? Have you got a pipe lit? East Farthing, right? I know I'm thinking about putting an order in the States soon, but I'm thinking about getting some of the factory second smokes. I'm getting into sort of cigars recently, and I fancy just getting the humidor filled up, but just go with something sort of not too expensive at the moment. Yeah, it's funny because when I started last year and I went with the Captain Blacks, I really wanted to try them because everybody was talking about them, and I really enjoyed them. But now I tend to find that when I go back to sort of like the cherry aromatics type tobaccos, I find them really overpoweringly sweet. And when I started smoking such as the Virginias, I felt that they were too much like cigarette tobacco. But now I'm finding that my palate's sort of changing, and I'm finding that the sort of plain Virginias are just as sweet and really nice. So yeah, some of the Aeros can be a bit overpowering. Salty Dogs, I've seen that one on a few videos as well. All right, it's Penny Farthing, that's Cornell and Deal, isn't it? Are you all right, Tim? How are you feeling? No, not yet. I tried a bowl of. Oh, I'm trying to think what it is. Not the one you made, but the other one, the Brown House. And I thought that was a bit of a slap in the chops. But I haven't tried your blend yet, Alex. Evening, Alex in Scotland. We've got two Alexes in now. Pipe for UK. Those tampers you've been making and putting on Instagram look brilliant, mate. They're really coming on. I like the coloured bits between the wood. Really look good. You're under a winner there. It's funny, I find that when I smoke cigars, they really irritate my eyes, and yet I don't get that when I smoke a pipe. Weird. I don't know if it's because I've got the fire here and it's just blown it straight into my face, so I might have to turn it off. I haven't been too bad, Tim. Work's going well. Thankfully, the vertigo hasn't really kicked in and caused us any problems while I've been there. So, so yeah, I'm settling in nicely, and touch wood, things are going well. Um, Cigars I tend to like is the Romeo and Juliet number 2, but also I really like the Guantanamera. This one's the first time I've ever tried this one, but I must admit it's quite a nice smoke actually. But I've heard good things about the factory seconds, so I'm definitely interested in trying those. Yeah, definitely. I think that's what because I was thinking about getting some Christmas blend tobaccos, but I've been sort of wavering on that one. So I thought, well, I'll get the humidor filled up. I've got some friends going over to America in a few weeks' time, so I don't know whether to just sort of say, look, if you're over there and you see any, grab us a couple of packs and bring them back and sort of save postage and running the risk, etc. But I don't know what to do yet. I'm still undecided. I think I've got enough pipe tobacco there to last us for quite a long time. So I thought if I can get my humidor built up and filled up again, get the cobwebs off it, might be nice. It is nice every once in a while just to have a nice cigar and a nice whiskey, which is something I used to enjoy long before I started smoking a pipe. So, what have you got on your Christmas wish lists? Anything interesting? Any new pipes or tobacco or cigars? Get that fire off. It's getting on my nerves. What did you get, Gig Piper? Captain Pure Virginia. Yeah, Steve, it really boils your piss when delivery companies lose your stuff. Good evening, John. Steve, I got a cracking bones pipe recently. The Dancer. One of the tobacconists in the UK had a Halloween sale on, and these were coming in at £29. And the annoying thing is, I wish I'd gotten a couple when I had the chance, because I did have my eye on a bulldog, which I was originally going to order. But I spotted this and I thought, you know what, I've got to get it. And I've been smoking the Peterson's early morning pipe and the Sheraton's first bowl in this all week, and it's absolutely brilliant smoker. Get the chance, grab yourself one. Really nice pipe, really light as well. There's no weight in it at all. How many are you thinking about getting rid of, Phil? Well, I've got this little stubby ants because I'm thinking of having some of the Sans Pulcro after I finish this. And this is my cigar blend pipe, and absolutely love it. Brilliant little smoker. Tonight I'm smoking a Tobacco Lords, and I keep forgetting the name of it. It is a Glassford. It was a gift from Kim McGilvin, and I haven't seen Kim commenting for a while, so I hope things is okay. That'll probably still leave you about a couple of dozen left, Phil. Mm. Must admit, it's really, really nice. Yeah, John, because basically they crap. I mean, once over in the UK, you would sort of get your first post before you had your breakfast, then you would get sort of your second class post at around dinner time. Now you're lucky if you get one a day, so and it's always late afternoon. It's never, very rarely, it's an AM delivery now. It's like all things, John, you know, they just don't have any respect for people's property. Trouble is, a lot of these companies, the workers get treated like crap and they just don't care, and they tend to take it out on people's parcels if they're having a shitty day. long, long time. I think the problem with sort of postal services now is that they get so much junk mail to send to people in post through your letterbox because I might get one letter, but sort of half a dozen sort of circulars and adverts and just total crap. You know, it's like most of, especially sort of like when you get like these Argos special offers and stuff like that, and you know, they just get tons of that rubbish coming through your letterbox, and it must really peeve the postal guys to think that they know that 90% of the stuff that they're posting is just going to go straight into the recycle bin. John, what's the sound like tonight? Is it still coming through quiet, or am I a little bit louder? Hi, Mark. Thanks a lot. Yep, job's going great. Settled right in. I've been looking at getting a new webcam and boom mic, so I'm hoping that that might try and solve some of the sort of picture and sound quality on. Because again, this is just a bug basic laptop, so hopefully that's something I'm going to look into once we get Christmas out the way. Hi, John. Yeah, it's crazy how like some people can hear us okay and yet others can't. I find that as well when I'm watching YouTube normal videos, especially on the laptop. Some seem to come through like really quiet, and yet others I've got to sort of turn the volume down. So, and the downside is that the Purple Panda mic that I bought last year, it doesn't work with my laptop. Yeah, Mark. Last time it was just internet was absolutely horrendous. So hopefully there's been no heavy downpours today, so it hasn't caused us any problems. I'm good, thanks, John. Are you? Phil, I'll have to put my Brian Blessed voice on. What do you reckon? I cannot do it seriously. And Karen will be sat through there thinking, what the hell's going on through there? We're an hour behind, Steve. It's 7:30 here. Apple juice. Do I look like a guy who drinks healthy apple juice? Apple juice. Eesh. Gordon's alive! If you want to know who Brian Blessed is, if you don't know, if you ever see the movie Flash Gordon, he played the Hawkman with the beard. He's actually a brilliant personality if you ever see him. I always remember a really funny story he was telling was that he's sort of done Everest a couple of times, and he was doing this interview on TV one day, and he said, "Well, the problem that you have when you go mountain climbing is that you don't know where you can go to take a crap." So he left the tent and he left the guys who he was with, and he went to this ledge to have a poo. And as he was sort of hovering over the edge and dropped one, a wind blew up, shot it over his head, and it landed on his teammates outside the tent. And this interview was just like looking at him open mouthed, and it was absolutely hilarious. I think it was like on some sort of live morning program. You just couldn't believe that he told that story on live TV. It was absolutely hilarious. John, that's my number one favourite tobacco. It beats Revo Plug. I absolutely love Granny Pants. It must have been a definite strange person who decided to call Ennerdale Granny Pants, because I would love to know how they did the comparison. You can just imagine some little old lady taking her underwear off the washing line thinking, I'm sure I put 6 pairs on the washing line and not 4. I take it it's not for you then, John. You would think that when Brian Blessed shouted war, the whole town would just stop still. Mm, definitely. I haven't had a bowl of Ennerdale for a while, actually. It's one I need to have another one of. It's been a while. I've just had so many to try recently that I've been on a bit of a back burner. But it's definitely one that I will get a few tins of and put it in my cellar. For me, it's the room note because it's got that what I like to call the classic pipe tobacco smell that always reminds us of my grandfather. And there's only a few sort of tobaccos that I've been able to actually sort of get that. But yeah, as Pipe Puffer UK said, it ghosts the hell out of your pipe, so you do have to dedicate a pipe to it. Yeah, for some reason when I open the tin, I don't get the aroma of the deck of a Grimsby trawler, but each to their own, I suppose. I must admit, I am enjoying this cigar, but it's killing my eyes. Yeah, stinks. Curmudgeon, good evening. How are you doing? Or good afternoon, where you are. Or good morning, if the case may be. Vulcan Delight, is that the Peterson's one? Again, another one that I really enjoy, and I've not got another tin, and I must get one. That was one of the first tobaccos I got last year. And you, I'm just glad I've been able to get on live tonight. I came on early, so I made sure that I don't know if, but for some reason, that every time I come on the laptop to try and do a live, I've got to update the Firefox. So I came on early this time and made sure that was all set up and ready, and I knew I could go for it. Because the last time it was supposed to come on at 7 o'clock, and it took us about half an hour to try and get it all updated, and then it just basically went to pot and didn't go through. Good evening, Michael. Well, you know what? I think I'll leave the rest of this and I might load a pipe up, I think, because it's killing my eyes. So I think I'll have some of the Cornell and Dale Sans Pulcro small batch, which I really do hope they bring this out again, because it's definitely a one that I want to get more of. Well, I must admit that bottle hasn't lasted long. Are you smoking anything tonight, Michael? Yeah, Doug, that Maltese Falcon's really nice. Um, I was going to have some of that tonight, but I thought, well, if I'm having a cigar, I wanted this afterwards because this is a really nice, sweet taste in tobacco. It goes really nice with the whiskey. Yeah, Alex, I've got to get another bottle of that because that monkey shoulder is absolutely brilliant stuff. I don't tend to go for a lot for blended whiskies, but that one is definitely a really nice one. Mark, I've just finished a book called Earth Core, which was I really enjoyed it actually. It was basically about this company trying to drill because they find a huge load of platinum. When they get down there, they're in for a bit of a shock, and I must admit, I really did enjoy it. Port. It's a strange one, Tim. It's not something you tend to hear a lot of. People drinking port these days. It's colouring up really nice. When I first got it, it was sort of like a nice golden colour like that, but because I've been smoking these cigar blends in it, it's taken on a hell of a colour. See, I tend to think port goes with cheese, and it's not usually something that I tend to. Again, it's like sort of like a Christmassy drink where if you've got a cheese board, you have like a. I think it used to be was it QC years ago, which was sort of like the most popular one that you could get. I'll have to see if I can pick up a bottle, Tim. Give it a try. Yeah, definitely, Phil. But then I tend to like sort of like the Talisker with a cigar as well because I love that sort of smoky, peaty taste. I think that really brings out a nice cigar as well. Steve, I very, very nearly moved to Qashqai 15 years ago. No, I haven't, Alex. That's something I'm thinking about getting on my next order. I've been looking at them because I want to get a few for the humidor. And I thought, well, rather than sort of get pipe tobacco, because I've got quite a bit there to go through, I thought, well, if I sort of, over the next few orders I get, I'm going to get some of the Drew Estate ones to try and see what they like. I quite fancy trying the factory seconds as well. Again, as I mentioned earlier, I do like the Guantanamera cigars, and when I was at the tobacconists at Durham there the other week, I was really, really shocked at how expensive they are now. It's like 7.50 for one. And I remember when I used to go abroad a lot, I could get like a box of 25 for €50, and just some of the prices over here are really ridiculous. My stepson's just been to Russia. He went up to the Ukraine. They went to visit Pripyat and everything. And I never thought, I messaged him when he came back. I said, I should have given you some money to get cigars. And he said, it was so cheap over there. And it's like, why didn't you grab us some type thing? Are you fluent in Portuguese, Steve? When I lived in Great Yarmouth, there was a big Portuguese community there. And I used to work in the local college as a teaching assistant to the ESOL. And so we had a lot of Portuguese students. And I used to go to Portugal a lot before, and because my ex-wife was half Portuguese, and yeah, I just loved it. I thought it was great. It was funny because one of my favourite James Bond movies is the George Lazenby one on Her Majesty's Secret Service, and went for a holiday in Sintra. And I remember walking up the bank from the hotel into sort of like the town square, and I was like looking at this hotel casino, and I was looking at it, and I'm thinking, that really rings a bell, but it didn't sort of ring true at the time. And I was there for a couple of days before I actually realised that that's the casino that James Bond goes to at the start of the movie, and it was like, like total fanboy moment of like, oh my god, it was. That's why I would love to go to Piz Gloria in Switzerland, because obviously that's where the bad guy's lair was, and so yeah, it was a definite James Bond moment. John, have you tried that Cohiba pipe tobacco yet? Doug, you should try Newcastle. It doesn't get more whacked out than that. Let us know what you think. I'd be interested to see, to sort of know what it's like. I've been looking for it, but obviously you can't get it on the ones I've sort of been looking at in the States, so that might have to be a one I'll get from Germany, maybe. Doug, have you tried the Samuel Gower's Double X Twist yet? John, I'm sure there's going to be 7 very happy people to have a white Christmas this year. I know they're feeling well. Yeah, it's got a punch. It's like barbecue steak. That's probably the best way I could describe Double X Twist. It's never far away. I know it was a shame that the one I got off Suffolk Piper, it broke in half. It developed a crack, and I tried to nurse it, but sadly, it went. And I always remember one of the first pipes I got was a Meerschaum pipe that I got in New York, and I loved it. And it broke sort of where the stem meets the shank, and I was heartbroken. Yeah, Doug, seriously, when I first tried it, it put me on my ass for about half an hour. And yeah, it's definitely one of those after a really big meal and a good half-hour sit down afterwards. Oh yes, definitely. It's funny because somebody mentioned mixing the double X twist with haunted bookshop. I don't think I'm ready for that one yet. Like, I can just barely manage the two of them on their own. I still can't do a retro hill on haunted bookshop. Oh, it's definitely Doug. It's an iconic pipe. It's like it's Lee Van Cleef. Come on, doesn't get any better than that. No, I haven't, Phil. That's another one I keep sort of thinking about mixing the odd bit up. I actually mixed some haunted bookshop with the privateer because the privateer is sort of like a mild Latakia blend, and I sort of called it sort of ghost chip. And funnily enough, it wasn't too bad because you had that little bit of Latakia mixed in with the harshness of the haunted bookshop. But I don't think I'm ready for the pirate cake yet. Steve, you have my respect for smoking that stuff. I mean, I'm lucky if I have one bowl a month. But I think it's the one that you should sort of have, because the first bowl I got, I gave half of it away. And then when I sort of started getting into it, I was a bit sad that I got rid of it. But luckily, I got another one. And I'm taking it easy with this one. It's good for taking the wallpaper off the walls as well, John. Tim, that meerschaum claw that you put the photographs on the other day, it's taken on a hell of a colour. Yeah, John, that's a nice one as well. That's another, again, Tim, that's another one that's taken on a hell of a colour. Cheers. Yeah, Tim, how the hell you smoked that on its own? I'll never know. Seriously. Oh, Doug, speaking of Sherlock Holmes, I showed it earlier. I was pottering around today and I went into a charity shop and I saw something and I thought, I've got to get it for the wall of the man cave. Karen says, "What the hell? Where do you think you're putting that?" I says, "Don't worry, it's going up in the shed." You know, the sad thing is, a lot of sort of like you tend to think that if you go into charity shops, you'll find a lot of tobacco and things like that, and you don't see anything really that you can pick up. I'm going to have to start maybe to do what Tree does and go to a lot of car boot sales and see what I can pick up. Tim, have they thought about doing them as cushion covers? Yeah, I don't think you're getting far, Doug. I know last year I was wanting a sort of a ashtray stand, And I looked everywhere, and funnily enough, there's a thing on Facebook now called Marketplace. And I saw this one, it was 10 quid, and it was in Darlington, which is only a short bus ride away. And I thought, I cannot believe it. I've been looking for one of these for months, and there's one literally 12 miles away. And I messaged them straight away, and they still had it, and I went through and picked it up. And I just love it that it's in the rare summer house there, and I use it every time I go up there to keep my pipes on and the ashtray and everything. Has anybody tried this Samuel Gower's Navy Flake? I got a sample pack the other day with my order, but sadly they didn't have the pipe that I wanted, so I cancelled the whole order. And I was going to get some of the Ashton's Consummate Gentleman to try as well. So I'm interested to know what the Navy Flake's like. So I definitely recommend it then, Tim. Alex. Right. Well, you know I love Latakia, so is it a bad one or was that Navy Flake that you sent us, Alex? Right. Oh well, probably just as well I didn't get it then. See, every cloud has a silver lining. I had to sacrifice a pipe to not get a tobacco that I didn't like. I must admit I've been quite lucky because of a lot of the samples that I've been given to try, there's only sort of a few that's really been like not favourable. So I've been lucky in that respect. I think the one tobacco that I really just could not get away with was the Elizabethan mixture. Which one do you want, John? The guy with the briefcase? I need to get those t-shirt ones off as well. Right. The trouble is, Big Ben isn't in Oxford. It's in London. Michelangelo's ghost. How are you? I'm good, Michael. How's things down in Nottingham? Good, good. Been missing those videos at London beside the canal. You've been a bit quiet lately. Yeah, you do. A nice winter one. You got. I haven't done a London video for ages. Definitely need to get out and do a one. I keep meaning to go up to Durham and just walk by the river and do another one. Definitely. Doug, I haven't forgot about that cap. It's still there waiting to come out. Seriously, I've got stuff there that's been sat there for months to send out to people. And hopefully, if I'm not working next Friday, I might get them in the post. So, fingers crossed. I've got so much stuff to send out. Yeah, Timmy, is John still doing the Leeds Pipe Club? I hope the hell I can get to Nottingham next year. I was really gutted I couldn't make it this year. It's a shame they only do the one a year and there's not sort of more in the UK. Watching the videos of the Las Vegas pipe show over the last week was just so green with envy and not being able to go. Oh, that's sad news, Tim. I'm really gutted as well because your dad's been going to the one at Newcastle the last couple of months and no one else has turned up. And obviously, I couldn't go today because I was supposed to be doing overtime, which fell through at the last minute, which I was really pissed at. And I need to try and see if I can get the Cuban Cigar Club back up on track. I've been really good at that, obviously, through being out of work. I haven't been able to get up there, and because it's a great little venue. They have a hell of a sample room at the back. So hopefully, I'll get there for Christmas, and we might be able to kickstart it and get it back up and running in the new year. I know somebody messaged us yesterday asking if I was going to go up there today because him and this guy and his brother was going to go there, but obviously, sadly, I couldn't make it. Which, again, I got told at the last minute that the plans weren't happening, and just a nightmare. I hate letting people down. Yeah, I know, Tim. That's all right, Doug. I knew what you meant. I might get some double X twist off just as little something for you. Speaking of the hat, I was over the moon when Andrew Sirigliano sent us a bag of the Six Demon bag tobacco. When I got that, I was totally over the moon with it. I'll get it off to you. It'll be a nice Christmas present. Well, see, just the thing after your Christmas dinner. There you go. You'll have an excuse to go and lie down for a bit. And seriously, you'll need to lie down. Steph, Skip, Thank you for joining us. Loved the live last week. Brilliant. Are you two okay? Oh, that's not good, Steph. Hope you're feeling okay now. See, it's that shiny dazzler outfit. It's not good for your eyes. Good evening, Derek. Actually, speaking of Peterson, Suffolk Piper Centre's a nice pipe. This Donegal, which I've actually dedicated to the Peterson Old Dublin, and really nice, really enjoying this. I love these bulldog shapes, absolutely fantastic pipes. Oh, it's a great smoker. I mean, it's only the second pipe that I've got from that's a Peterson. And I know a lot of people seem to have a bit of a gripe with the Peterson's pipes, but I've got two now, and they're both great smokers. Oh, Michael, I agree. I mean, I got a cheap bulldog last year, and it's one of my best smokers. It's just such a great pipe. Alex, I can't believe that you don't like unfiltered pipes. I'm surprised, John, because again, I just got one to try it and I wasn't too sure about it myself. But because I got the Savinelli Rhodesian, I thought, well, I'll give it a try. And I must admit, I could probably say it's one of my favourite shaped pipes. You're smoking it too fast, Alex. And definitely no aromatics in it, unfiltered. Are you all right, Derek? Never mind, yeah, yeah. It's all those gnarly tobaccos you keep sending us, that's what it is. You don't fool us anymore when you say, "Oh, I've got this really nice tobacco for you to try. Let us know what you think." Yeah, and it blows the top of my head off. I'm getting wise to it. Vintage Syrian is absolutely gorgeous tobacco. Luckily enough, I got a tin last year for Christmas. And it's one of those ones I try not to smoke too much. Well, that's good to know, John. Really good to know. You'd be like Scrooge with Duck, wouldn't you? You just dive off a diving board straight into 93 tons of Syrian Latakia. Alex, I'm so glad that you got us on the Mississippi mud because, again, that's another one that's, I just absolutely love it. No, John, I'm still here. Are you losing the signal on this? Am I still coming through okay? Right. I might see if I can get an extension so I can actually hardwire this straight into the router rather than going through the Wi-Fi. John, it's not the snow in Switzerland that's causing the problem, is it? Lucky you. It was funny yesterday because when I finished work, I started walking to get the bus. I stupidly decided to start whistling Let It Snow, and it just started to absolutely bucket down with sleet. And I thought, yeah, that's what you get for being an asshole. Yeah, I might have to do that, Alex. It's funny because the first time I started smoking, it was always like a 9 millimeter filter pipe. But I find now that I enjoy a non-filtered pipe more than a filtered. But I still keep the filtered for aromatics. But yeah, I tend to go more for like an unfiltered pipe. Right, Alex. I'll have to get something because I know the Wi-Fi is a lot better than what it was before, but I need to get something, and obviously I can't smoke in the living room, so I'll have to um, I'll have to look into something. I think I was actually thinking about getting one of those Wi-Fi boosters and just plug it in and see if that would help. But I might see if I can just get a LAN extension and bring it through here and plug it straight in. The crazy thing is, like when I was in the old house, I never had any issues whatsoever with the Wi-Fi. But I don't know what it is with this place that we're in now, even though it's like a bungalow and it's all on one level, that I still get this sort of weird thing going on. Yeah, I'm the same, Michael. I think it depends on the tobacco. I think if it's a one that you know you're going to get the tongue bite from, I tend to keep for the 9 mils. But if I know it's going to be okay, then I tend to go with the unfiltered. A lot of the cigar blend ones, I find that they're okay, so I smoke them in this. I mean, Captain Black, it's got to be a 9 mil. I couldn't smoke them. I've tried them in an unfiltered, and that it just doesn't work. Unless I drink a bit of antiseptic, and then it's okay. Well, I'm with EE at the moment, and since I went on to the fibre optic broadband, I mean, it's been absolutely fantastic. I mean, last year it would take me something like 3 to 4 hours to upload a video, whereas now it takes like 15, 20 minutes at the most. I know, Michael, I tend to find that when I do a video, I tend to really smoke through it and go at it like crazy, and I really shouldn't, but I tend to find that if you're doing a 10 minute YouTube video that you're sort of trying to do a review and smoking it as quick as you can, but I tend to find that when I'm not doing a video, etc., that I do take it a lot easier and take my time with it. I mean, I loaded this one up and it's nearly gone already. But the strange thing is that when I did my first live, I was smoking the Maltese Falcon in my Bulldog pipe, and it lasted us like an hour and a half. Whereas if I tend to smoke others, I go through them pretty quick. this is probably isn't the best time to do a live video because there's probably so many people are trying to go on online on a Saturday night that it probably slows the server down. I should maybe try and do a live one night during the week and see how it turns out. Yeah, I'm really annoyed that I mean, I can understand why YouTube stopped live streaming on videos because obviously of the incident that happened with the shooting and everything. Um, but again, it was so much easier to just set your phone up and away you went. Because again, if I had any issues with the like sort of broadband, I could go the internet, just forget about it. Yeah, I might try and do one during the week and see how it turns out. I know it's great. The thing I love about the YTPC is that we're so spread out around the world, and you can have a chat with somebody who is like hundreds of miles away. It's like last week with Steph and Skip. It's like you sit there and you think, God, I'm talking to somebody in America, or I'm talking to somebody who's in Germany or Switzerland, and it's I just love it. And I'm finding more now that I really do enjoy the lives because I can actually interact with you as you're sending us a message, and I feel as if I'm sort of in a room with you, as opposed to just sitting down and just smoking a pipe and saying, "Oh yeah, this is what I'm smoking today." Um, Steph and Skip, are you on that house party? Because I know now that I've been sort of talking to people on house party a lot, and you can sort of get, I think, as many as 8 people on a chat at the same time. Hi Ronnie, how are you? Nice to meet you. I think it's the first time I've said hello to you. And the same as Michael in Germany. It's nice to see a few new faces that I've never spoken to before. 2 seconds, Steph. Steph, have I got you on house party or not? Actually, I better not, because if I'm having trouble with internet, I might screw up the live. But I'll have a look for you and see if I can add you if I haven't already. Yeah, it can get a bit too much if there's more than four, because by the time it breaks down, especially on a mobile phone, you see like a picture that's about that big, and it can get a bit too much, can't it? Well, I'm glad you can join, Michael. It's nice to get to finally say hello live as you speak. Skip, I agree completely. I think that's now why recently I feel more that I like doing the lives because you can have a laugh, you can get to know people a bit better and get to know them personally, and you tend to know sort of a person's humour and a little bit more about them rather than just doing a video and it's a bit sort of I wouldn't say bland but scripted, if that makes any sense. You can feel a bit more yourself and go from there. Mm. Take care, Phil. Thanks for joining. Enjoy your tea or supper. Alex, take care, mate, and keep those tampers coming. Welcome back, Tim. Bear with us 2 seconds while I go and get a top up. Sorry, everybody. I should have brought a couple through with us before I started. Right. Two seconds while I catch up with what everyone's been saying. Yeah, Michael, I caught matches last night, and yeah, they just go by so quick. And I tend to like that. I usually get around about 10 people, so it's really nice that I can interact more. And because you see something, they scroll by so fast. It's like watching the sort of like the credits on a movie or a TV show. But yeah, it's just nice. It's just a nice number to have. Hi, Paul. Yeah, if you Google US suppliers, you tend to find like Four Noggins and Pipes.com, etc. And you tend to find quite a few like US suppliers to get your stuff over. Um, I was lucky last year because there used to be a guy on YouTube, on eBay that used to sell American blends, but sadly eBay caught onto it and they shut them down. So, but yeah, Four Noggins, Cup of Joes, etc. You tend to find a few good ones. I think John's getting a few moderators now to watch the comments, and I think he must have had a bit of a bad experience recently, where people were being a bit arsy, and I think now that they monitor the comments, and if anybody's been like nasty or horrible, they tend to just boot them out the door. Yeah, ask for customs friendly. Steve, you're welcome to as much haunted bookshop as you like. Again, Paul, if you get involved with the YTP scene, you get to know a few people in the US. Again, strike up a friendship. And the great thing about the YTPC is that we're such a great community that everybody is sort of willing to help out where they can. And again, if you sort of mention to somebody that you're looking for something, they might be able to get it to you and a bit easier than going through an actual company. Yeah. It is awful because it's like you feel as if you're sort of dealing with a drug dealer, and you've got to sort of hush it up and say, oh, can you put like a nice label on it, and hopefully it'll get through. And at the end of the day, I could understand it, but it's tobacco. I mean, come on, it's not like it's cocaine or anything, and just it's really stupid the way the law is at the moment. I don't see what the problem is. I think the only problem that I had with getting items through was when I ordered the Missouri Meerschaum pipes and the Meerschaum pipe that I got last year. Other than that, touch wood, I've been okay with getting stuff sent through. So it is hit and miss. A lot of the times they'll get through, a lot of the times they might not. Again, it depends if you do something like a £300 order, then the chances are it'll probably get stopped. But if you keep it small and often, then you tend to find that you're okay. I know as much as you want to order like £300 worth or $300 worth of tobacco, it's worth just, I mean, I tend to just go with like maybe 5 tins, 6 tins maximum. No, probably not, Paul. That's a that's a whole can of worms. That like. Hi, Stu Pot. How are you? Where are you from? I know, I know. But I did get it at the end of the day, so that's the good thing. I did get it. I know there's some guys don't get it, and it's a big kick in the teeth. I mean, the crazy thing that I find with sort of like tobaccos, etc., is that when you look at the States, the pipes are so expensive, yet the tobacco is so cheap. Yet in the UK, the pipes are so cheap, yet the tobacco is so expensive. You cannot weigh it up. Get the insect out and just continue drinking. But it depends on the insect. I mean, you could just gulp it down and, go for it. Ollie, what? Can't argue with that, Doug. No way, the worm's the best part of a tequila. Yeah, you're probably right, Alex. It's actually scary because when I go on some of the sites and I look at what they charge for the pipes over there, and I think, my good God. I mean, even with the exchange rate, it's still like, um, to be honest, Steph, the last couple of times I've sort of done them at 7 p.m. English time, um, because, like I say, it's sort of like a good time for us in the UK. It's such a pain in the ass with these time differences, and I hate to think that I sort of step on people's toes, and I try to sort of keep it before 11 p.m. because I know Simon tends to do a live show on a Saturday night, and it's trying to arrange that like nice sweet spot, if you like. Michael, I would have thought it would be okay to grow your own tobacco. I can't see if, I mean, I think if you were growing it for yourself for your own consumption and you weren't selling it, I suppose that would be okay. Cheers, guys. Yeah, I love the lives, and I know there's a couple of times I've sort of set an alarm for 2 a.m. and sort of joined other lives and everything, and yeah, it's just such a shame that the time differences are crap. And I suppose Saturdays isn't the best time because if you guys in the States want to go out do shopping and etc. And I know it's an absolute pain in the ass. Alex, take care, look after yourself, and I hope everything goes okay with the vets next week. But I'm sure I'll talk to you before then. John, nice to see you. Take care. Stew pot. There's always that is cheap better than expensive. And I must say that I've bought quite a few cheap pipes. I mean, these Morgan Bones pipes, you really can't go wrong for the money. I mean, if you get them in the UK or in the States, they tend to be under sort of £50, $50 type thing, and they smoke absolutely great. Um, I've bought a couple of expensive Savinellis that I thought were horrible smokes. Yet I've bought a £20 Amazon pipe and it's smoked an absolute dream. Um, I'm in that mind that I think I, every pipe that I've got has been under £100. I think the most expensive pipe that I've bought was the Savinelli Oceano, which was about £90. So I tend to keep it in that price range. Again, I cannot see the justification of spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds on something that a £20 pipe will do just as well. Yeah, we could try that, Steph. I could try a 6 p.m. Paul, Smoke King had a fantastic deal last week where they were doing the Bones pipes for £29. I think the regular price is about £38. Again, you really cannot go wrong for that price. Skip, who makes the gentleman caller? Are you heading off, John? Kind of deal, right. Take care, John. Thanks for calling. I'll try and get a mic sorted out. I know the sound's a bit crap, I'm sorry. I have to say, any Latakia blend, Karen absolutely loves it. So Pirate Cake, Mississippi Mud, anything like that, and she thinks it's absolutely heaven. Well, what we can do, Steph, if you like, if you message us on Instagram and let me know that you're doing a live, we can maybe alternate, and maybe it's 1 week, you do one week I do one, etc. Again, I might try and do a one during the week, um, and see how that goes. I could maybe switch to a Friday night. Um, and just see how it goes. I know Friday nights can be a bit funny, but with matches doing one, but I think I'd be okay for the time zone because he tends to be on a little bit later. Yeah. Oh, she loves Latakia. It's funny when I used to do candle making. I mean, I still do from time to time, but I used to do a candle in a wax melt, and the fragrance that I used to make was called Campfire. And honest to God, it's Latakia, and which she absolutely loves. So again, I tend to get away with that one. Well, that's nice to know, Steph, because honestly, I don't know what you could learn from me. Seriously, Doug, nice to see you. Take care. Enjoy the bourbon. I nearly had a Jim Beam tonight, but I went with the Scottish instead. So I'll break out the Jim Beam next time. Actually, I got a one buffalo I've never tried before, so I'm quite looking forward to opening that one and giving it a try. Really, I'm surprised. I thought you guys had been like seasoned pipe smokers. Is Buffalo Trans bourbon? I need to get the bottle and check it out. Go for it, Paul. I've done it many a times. It's funnily enough, the reason that I got into pipe smoking is that I used to smoke Romeo and Juliet #2, and I was actually in a pub one night, and I just finished a cigar. There was about that much left, and an old fellow was sat next to us, and he said, "Oh, have you finished with that?" I said, "Yeah." So he said, "Oh, can I have your cutter?" So he cut off the bit I had in my mouth, stuffed it in his pipe, and finished it off. So that's what I tend to do now with my stub ends of a cigar. I'll stuff them in a pipe, or I tend to keep them, get a few together, chop them up, mix them in with another tobacco, and then just smoke them. So yeah, play with them, see what you think, and be pleasantly surprised. Ronnie, are you in the States? Are you all right, John? How are you? Good to see you. I'm smoking the bones. Cheers, Skip. I thought it was. I watched a video on YouTube and he highly recommended it. So when I saw a bottle, I thought I'll give it a try. I've been trying to get me whiskey stocks back up recently. I bought a bottle of Gentleman Jack yesterday, so I'm looking forward to trying that as well. Oh, John, you can't go to London and not go into the pipe shops down there. You know, I do feel it's horrible because I do feel for you guys in the States not being able to get Cuban cigars, and because you can get so many great and fantastic tobaccos over there, and yet you cannot get Cuban cigars. It's crazy. John, you've got to have a trip in James Fox. It's got to be done. Right, we're going to get into a debate here with cigars because are Cubans worth the hype at the end of the day? Mellow corn, right. I mean, the problem is, Ronnie, in the UK, cigar prices are absolutely pathetic. They really, I mean, they're crazy. I mean, I used to love the Romeo and Juliet #2, and for me to get one of those in the UK, I'm looking at like sort of £25 for one. And I've noticed like sort of ones I used to be able to get abroad for next to nothing, the absolutely crazy prices over here. So I might be better off not to smoke Cubans, to be honest. Paul, it's all to do with the embargo. It's like you guys getting Cuban cigars like it is for us to get American blend pipe tobacco. It's all customs and bureaucracy crap. Ronnie, it makes my eyes water to see how cheap your cigars are. I mean, I've been looking at the factory seconds and like a bundle of 20 for $50, and it's like, I mean, one of my favourites is a Guantanamera. Now these cigars, the last time I bought these, I got them in Belgium, and I got 25 for €50, and this one cost me £7.50 for one. So yeah, that's a kick in the teeth. You can see why I started smoking pipes, because the cigar prices in the UK are just through the roof. For sort of one cigar, I can get an actual tin of tobacco. I mean, our tobacco prices are about £15 for a 50-gram tin or 2 ounces. So when you can get sort of 2 ounces for $10 in the UK, in the US, you can understand why we tend to like to try and get them from over there. Steve, it's been great to see you. Look after yourself. Take care. Yeah, Cohibas in the UK are just stupid money. Steve, you've got to start doing videos again, mate. You've been a miss. I know you've been doing the odd ones, but you need to come back. Yeah, John, I've been looking at them as well, but again, when you look at sort of the prices for a little selection pack of sort of five, I mean, you think to yourself, well, for five, I can get 20 from the US, and again, is it really worth it at the end of the day? I mean, sort of, I can get sort of five cigars for maybe 70 to £100, and I think to myself, well, what amount of pipe tobacco I can get for that price, is it really, really worth it? Good, Steve. Get yourself back. Again, I don't want to get into politics, but I think Trump will say no to anything. I know, John. I've been looking at something like the factory seconds. You can sort of get a bundle for $50. I mean, even with the sort of $20 postage, it still works out as really, really cheap. And I keep looking at the cobwebs on my humidor and thinking, I've really got to dust it off and get it filled up. And I mean, I had a cigar earlier and I really enjoyed it. And I've been really loving the cigar blend pipe tobaccos. And yeah, I mean, Robusto pipe tobacco I think is absolutely fantastic. Key Largo, again, that's another one I think is a really, really good tobacco. And I've noticed, because we sort of spoke about this before, there's been quite a few cigar blend tobaccos coming out recently. You've had is it the San Paul Crow small batch from Cornell and Dale, which I'm smoking now, which is really nice, which I'm hoping they're going to bring out as a regular tobacco. And you've had the Haunton recently as well. That's brought them out. So I think they must be realising that there's a market there for sort of cigar blend pipe tobacco. Skip, do you think his hands are tied? I mean, I mean, I don't really tend to follow politics a great deal. Because I always feel that politicians are just really out for themselves more than the actual individual. I mean, I don't know if you guys have been following the whole Brexit carry on that we've had in the UK. They've been pissing about for the last 3 years to try and leave the EU, and it just feels like they're more worried about their own interests than actual the people's. At the end of the day, they're supposed to be representing us. Yet when we tell them that we want to do something, it's like, oh, well, it's not going to work out for us, and I don't know. I think at the end of the day, whether it's tobacco, alcohol, or whatever, if it's not in their best interests, then it tends to be a bit of a I don't want to know. A 1, 2, 3 mixture, Paul. Right. I'll have to look out for that one. Well, I personally think that pipe smoking's getting a bit of a resurgence because I think people are realising. I mean, a packet of cigarettes in the UK now, I think you're looking at sort of £10 for a packet of 20. So I think pipes are maybe getting a bit of a boost now, where because people are realising that they can get so much more from the pipe tobacco than what they can from. I mean, a 50-gram tin can last me a week. So I think a lot of people are realising now that, well, it's all about money, isn't it? Again, it's like cigars. It's so expensive. That's what got me onto pipes. So again, it's all about the money, isn't it? Well, I think somebody. Somebody said a really interesting thing a while ago, and they said, well, if we stop bombing these countries, then maybe the people won't run away from there and try and come and live here where it's safer. I know. They're quite happy to drop, a few £1 million worth of bombs on, a little bit of dirt land, and yet, you try and go and get your medication or whatever, and you kind of get it because it costs thousands of pounds or thousands of dollars. It's just, you kind of really weigh it up how they're willing to spend all that money to drop all this ordnance onto a foreign land, yet their own people, they're willing to see them die because they can't get, insulin or things like that. Same here, Ronnie. That's what got me into smoking the pipes, because cigars just way out of my price range now. Same here, Ronnie. Again, Paul, you know, I think there's nothing greater than seeing somebody smoking a pipe. Much, much better than seeing somebody smoking a cigarette. Okay, John. It could be me. Okay, John. It could be me as well, because I know there's been a couple of glitches recently on mine. So I think a Saturday night's not the best time to do a live, because the last couple of times I've tried to do one, I've had nothing but trouble with it. I think the great thing is, Paul, I know when, before I got into pipe smoking, when I used to walk down the street, and even after I started pipe smoking, actually, when you walk past somebody smoking the pipe, I think you do tend to get that nostalgia thing. It's like, oh God, that's what my granddad house used to smell like, or oh, that's what my dad's garage used to smell like. And I think I tend to find that from sort of the last year or so in the YTPC, that a lot of people tend to get into pipe smoking through the nostalgia effect of it. I mean, it is for me. I mean, I've been on this quest of finding that, what I like to call the classic pipe tobacco smell that reminds us of my grandfather. And, when you get that certain smell, you think, oh God, yeah, that takes us back to when I was 5 years old, sat next to the fire, and my granddad was smoking a pipe. And so I think a lot of it for us is that definite, nostalgia thing. Welcome back, John. That was quick. And again, my attitude is towards the funny looks is if you don't like it, take a hike on your bike. See you later. And I think it's a lot better than vaping. Ronnie, I mean, to be quite honest with you, when I first started smoking a pipe, for me, it was always sort of like what you can get in the supermarket type thing. And since I joined the YTPC, and my mind's been absolutely blown to the amount of tobacco that's out there, and there's some fantastic blends out there. It's just, it is mind-boggling. Then the downside is there's so many out there, and you want to try them all. You know, you keep watching the YTPC, and somebody will smoke this tobacco, and it's like, oh my god, I've got to try it. Oh yeah, definitely. It's all it is a nostalgia thing, I think personally. What annoys me in the UK is that because they've stopped smoking in sort of the pubs and bars, etc., that and shopping centres and things like that. So when you try to go into these establishments, you've got to walk through like sort of 10 foot of haze to get in there. And I think to myself, well, you're going to stink of smoke regardless of whether it's in there or out here. And there's nothing worse than walking towards somewhere and all you can see is like a sea of cigarette butts outside on the path before you even get in there. It's like, why? People are going to smoke regardless of whether you allow them inside or outside. It's absolutely crazy. Michael, it's actually great to see younger people on the YTPC who are actually smoking pipes. I mean, I think Austrian Piper's only in his early 20s and he's smoking a pipe, and it's like, my God, it's great to think that these guys are smoking these things. And it's nice to see younger people actually doing it. Yeah, I know, Paul. It is a hard thing because you sort of it's hard because if you think, well, I'm spending sort of £15 or dollars on a pipe tobacco, and when you get it, it doesn't sit nice with you. But that's the great thing about the YTPC is that somebody out there like it and they'll do a trade with you. Or what I tend to do is that I'll mix it with a tobacco that I do like, and it tends to sort of cancel it out and it bulks up the one that you. Or what I tend to do is that I'll mix it with a tobacco that I do like, and it tends to sort of cancel it out and it bulks up the one that you do like anyway. So, and again, I mean, I absolutely love playing around with mixing tobaccos and trying different things. Again, if you have a cigar that you like, chop it up, add it to a Virginia or whatever, and you tend to find that you have a really nice tobacco. Good on your skip. Savinelli, love Savinellis. I think the trouble with pipes is that you seem to have this stigmata that it's like, oh, it's an old fat who smokes a pipe. Why are you smoking a pipe? You're not 80 years old. It's like, again, it's that nostalgia. Grandpa used to smoke it, and people always have that image in their head, don't they? It's like Father Christmas. You always imagine like an old guy with a big white beard, and but if you had a Father Christmas who was like 20 years old, it's like, wait a second, that's not right. You shouldn't be dressed like that. I think the great thing with a lot of tobacco companies is that you can get sort of sample bags. So you might get sort of 10 grams or a couple of ounces or whatever, and you can try them, and then that grams or whatever. So it's always worth looking at your brick and mortars or your tobacconists and try and find what they do as a loose tobacco. So you're not like, I mean, I've bought a couple myself that I haven't really enjoyed, but I've been lucky that I've sent them on to somebody else. So again, it's like everything else. Look around, see what you can get. Paul, it's when you start wearing a flat cap that you worry. So Skip, you'll be in the good books at the moment. It always pays to smoke a tobacco that the other half enjoys. John, it's compulsory. Why do you think I always send a flat cap out with my little yabos? Every time I send one out, I try and shove a flat cap in there and get them sent out. Yeah, Paul, I did the same last year. Um, when I first got into pipe smoking, I got loads and loads of 10-gram bags. You know, I think this in the UK, there's one of them that I use cigars. I think if you order £50 worth of stuff, it's free delivery, and I mean you can get a hell of a lot of 10-gram sample bags for 50 quid. That's all I did last year and tried them and thought, yeah, I like that one. Took a note of it, and then got a tin at a later date. So yeah, it definitely pays to just get the sample bags. Yeah, again, Ronnie, you know, there's so many people in the YTPC. They'll help you out and steer you in the right direction. And again, like myself, if you get a tobacco you don't like, they're quite happy to send it off as a sample. And if you're a new piper or etc., get you into trying them. I mean, I've had so many sent to me, and again, the generosity of the YTPC, it always blows me away. And I've had so many nice tobaccos sent to us as a gift that I've really enjoyed, and I thought, how this is. It is every time I get one, it's totally mind blowing. Skip, Steph, take care of each other. Thank you for joining, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Actually, just give us 2 minutes. I'll be right back. Hello. I'm back. Well, I think we're at 2.5 hours now, and it's been a hell of a ride. And thank you so much for everybody being here. I'll keep going. Still got a bit of the ball left. Yeah, I think if it hadn't been for the YTPC, I don't think I would have gotten back into pipe smoking as much as I have. Because for me, smoking a pipe or a cigar was something I used to enjoy with the whiskey. But because I got involved with the YTPC last year, I got to know so many amazing people and learned so much about what's out there. It's been an absolute brilliant thing. So I'm not going yet, guys. John, this is taken on. I mean, it doesn't show it on the screen, but it's a hell of a nice colour on this. I smoked this on the, well, to do a comparison, that's the one I got recently, and that's the one I got off you, and yeah, it's it's like the Savinelli Grezes or Series 3, the unfinished ones. They just take on such an absolute brilliant colour. I can't understand why pipe makers colour pipes when they take on such a fantastic colour anyway. It seems a bit of a shame to waste that time and effort to colour them when tobacco does the job. Good night, guys. Thanks for joining. Are you heading off, Ronnie? Well, John, I nearly got the bulldog, but I saw the dancer instead, so I grabbed that. And I'm kicking myself because obviously they've gone back up to full price now. And I should have grabbed the two when I had the chance. Because the bulldog is definitely the next one I want on my list. And I think I might end up getting it for Christmas, I think. Because I did try to order a Melina pipe on Thursday, but sadly they were out of stock, so I might end up going with the bones. Yeah, definitely. Well, Ronnie, thanks a lot for joining us. I hope you enjoyed it. It was nice to have you along, and hopefully next time we'll see you again. Michael, what's it like for getting tobaccos in Germany? Really? I thought you guys would be okay to get them over there. Okay, John, take care. Thanks for calling. Yeah, send us a text. I'll give you a shout. Yeah, Michael. I think at the end of the day, online is definitely better than that. It's sad to see tobacconists go, but I think online is definitely the way to go. Paul, thanks a lot for joining us. It's always nice to see. I've had quite a few new people tonight, and it's always great to see you. Yeah, Michael, it's the same over here as well. I mean, my local tobacconists is in Durham City, but they tend to try and keep the tobaccos that they know obviously is a good seller, and they don't tend to experiment with sort of new and questionable, if you like, tobaccos. The one in Newcastle has a really good selection, but yeah, I think they tend to go with like what they know is a good sell and they know they're going to get rid of. So I mean, sometimes you'll go in there and they might have a tin that's like sort of covered in dust in the corner that nobody will touch, and you'll tend to get it just to try it anyway because you're a new pipe smoker. But yeah, a lot of the time it's just like a run of the mill, usual sort of bland tobacco, if you like. Yeah, it's funny because John mentioned before he found an invoice for some tobacco that he bought a couple of years ago, and it was like £11.20 for a 50-gram tin, whereas now you're looking at sort of £15. So just over the last few years, the prices have doubled, have almost doubled. It's ridiculous. The prices nowadays. But funny enough, we were just talking today about bus. I mean, even public transport. Sort of a bus ticket that I might have paid £18 for 6 years ago is now £26, and it's just ridiculous what they're charging nowadays. But beer and alcohol, it'll always be expensive because people buy it no matter what. So, Michael, what's your favourite tobacco? What do you normally smoke? Yeah. Yeah, last year I tended to get into sort of like the Captain Blacks and sort of like the cherry tobaccos, that chocolatey type stuff. And it's funny because I mentioned earlier that I tend to find now that when I try those, I really struggle with smoking them. And yet, when I smoked plain Virginia, they always reminded us too much of cigarettes. But the strange thing is that when I smoke them now, that sweetness of the tobacco comes through more in the Virginias than the chemical flavored brands that you get when I was smoking quite heavily last year. So yeah, I'm probably like in the same vein as you. Golden blend. Have you tried the silver cube? I tell you what I really like is the Kentucky bird as well. That was a nice surprise and aromatic that I tried recently. Nice taste to them actually. Which one, Michael? The silver or the Kentucky bird? No, that's okay. It's probably my broadband. Yeah. Mhm. I was really, really surprised with the Kentucky bird. It's usually one I smoke in my church warden. I tend to keep that for a Sunday morning smoke. Right, peach. All right. Have you tried the Sheraton's Dunhill blends? Continue with it's a real pain in the ass. Well, recently I tried as you know, the bowl, which is their version of Dunhill Early Morning Pipe. And personally, I find the first bowl is a nicer smoke because you don't get as strong a nicotine hit as you do from the Petersons. So definitely worth a try if you can get them. Right. See again, they bring these tobaccos out, and you kind of get them. You kind of get them in the US. You kind of get them over in Germany, and it's just ridiculous. It makes you wonder why they actually bother to waste the time and effort and money in bringing out a tobacco blend that's not available everywhere. I'd look out for them though. I know they're not exactly the same as a Dunhill, but they are a nice smoke in their own right. I think my two favourite Dunhills, which luckily I've got a couple of tins of, is the Durbar and the Early Morning Pipe. I was going to do a comparison of the Dunhill Early Petersons and the Sheratons, but I didn't feel that it would be a good comparison because the Dunhill I've got obviously got a few years age on it, and I knew straight away that would be a lot nicer and far superior. So, but I think once these get a few years on them, maybe 5 years down the line, they might be really, really nice tobaccos. I know. You know, the trouble is, you've got them, you don't want to open them because you know deep down you're never ever going to get them again. And it's like, well, when they're gone, they're gone. So I keep thinking to myself, should I just crack them open, get them smoked, and get them over and done with? And then it's out there, it's finished. It's like such as the Frog Martin Cellar and things like that, and the McClellans. They're gone now, and what's out there, they become like crazy money to get them. I would just get them smoked, get them finished, get them out there, and move on. Which I probably should do with the early morning pipe, really. Well, Michael, it's been lovely chatting to you. I hope to do it again soon, but I think I'm going to wrap this up, go and get some supper, and hopefully next time I do a live, you'll join us. And I hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly have. I love doing these lives, and brilliant, mate. As long as people enjoy doing them, I'll keep doing them. So I'll get you subbed, and I'll see you soon. You take care, enjoy your evening, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.